So Perry, you found your way onto the podcast. You're fully masked. It's great to see you again. Thanks for joining us. This is hour 21 of 24, and I feel as fresh and sensual and all of that as I did in hour one. I'm just not as aware of the things that are coming out my mouth at this point. So,
did you two have beards before you started?
No, I was clean shaven. This was. Hold on, let me show you a picture of myself before we started. It was. This is before we started. I had absolutely no facial hair whatsoever. Let me see, where is it here? Yeah, I was the guy on the right.
There you go.
and now I look like this, which I wish I didn't. But it's good to see you again. I think the last time we had you on the podcast, we had some technical issues, and we were able to hear you but not see you. So
that was a result.
And speaking of seeing you, it's been a pleasure, an unexpected pleasure, because I don't often watch the video content on Arsenal.com, but this preseason I did take out the second mortgage and I watched a couple of the games on Arsenal.com, and it was great to see you in studio and calling the games. I mean, to what is the extent of your Arsenal gig right now? I mean, I know that you're obviously doing the Legends tours and have those started back up, but you're kind of you're the Ainsley Maitland-Niles of Arsenal representatives right now. You're able to do it all.
Oh, yeah. The thing is, you're better to be quite good at a lot of things rather than very good at one thing. Do you know what I mean? So you're better off being able to spread yourself quite evenly. So as you said there, I've been doing a couple of co-coms. I did the behind closed doors game at London Coney against Watford, where I saw Lukongo play for the first time. And he was very, very impressive. Even though it's a friendly, you can still gauge if someone believes that they should be at Arsenal. And he could be a brilliant addition to that centre midfield area. And then I did the Chelsea game, obviously our first game with fans back at the Emirates. I think there's 25,000 there. And to be quite honest, we could have got beat 6 or 7-3. And then in the end, we could have drawn 2-2 because obviously Willock came on. And that was a really weird one, chaps, because I'm not for VAR. I'm against VAR. I don't like the way it stops the flow of the game. I don't like the way it gets involved and, sort of cancels out goals and whatever. But it was amazing. Everybody around me, as soon as Willock's shot hit the underside crossbar, came down and went out, everybody was screaming for VAR. I went, well, hold on a minute. You can't have it both ways. Do you know what I mean? Even if we don't score a goal, then, I'm all right with it. So just very lucky to be back to some sort of normality, which is great. Very lucky to work for Arsenal TV. I get paid to watch my team. So, how's your luck?
And I always we've asked. I think Stuart Robson's been in this position before. I think Adrian Clark has certainly been in this position before. When you work for Arsenal TV, the question is, are you given the flexibility to be critical if need be? And what I've seen and heard from your commentary so far is that you seem to be given that flexibility. And if you haven't been given that flexibility, you take it anyway.
Well, the thing is, I've always been given that flexibility, but probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I was banned from Arsenal TV for about 3 years because the people in charge at the time thought I was a little bit too critical. They thought
that happened to Stuart as well, right? I think
I wasn't quite
on still going on.
Yeah, but I wasn't quite on Robbo's level, to be fair, because he went on an anti-Arsene Wenger rant for about 2 or 3 years, and I was like, calm down, Robbo. What he's done for our club has been magnificent, So, but I think what you have to do, obviously, it is Arsenal TV, so quite rightly, you should be Arsenal biased because it's our vehicle, which is all our supporters are watching. But you've still got to be honest, and as long as my criticism is constructive, then I don't get a problem with it. So no one's ever said under the new regime who's in charge, you can't say this, you can't say that. Don't mention about different subjects. So and I think sometimes maybe because I'm a Gooner. Going back from my family and Uncle Vic and his father and my granddad, maybe you're even more demanding of your team. Do you know what I mean? So maybe sometimes you criticize maybe too much because you want us to do so well and win so badly. But
we've heard
that's a good thing though, because you want it to be authentic. That's why they have people like you on there and not someone like me. You want someone who's lived it their whole life and played for the squad. And I understand where they don't want you to be super critical of the team, but there's that authenticity there that people know you know what you're talking about, and there's just a genuineness to what you're saying, and it's not coming off as trying to bash the club, because you obviously love Arsenal and want them to play well. So I love when there's, kind of the latitude for you to just give an honest opinion, because that's exactly what it is. And that's what we want when we watch shows like that, I think.
Yeah. I mean, if Arsenal really do control the content even on their channel too much, I mean, it's going to come across, because look, unless we're playing perfect football, for you to go on there and act like it's perfect football would just be disingenuous. It would really lower your reputation, and it would lower Arsenal's reputation, because it would be so obvious that that's what's going on.
The thing is, like, you lose your credibility. That's the whole thing is credibility. And then I'm watching the same games as what all the fans are watching. Now, maybe I can understand why players do certain things or make certain mistakes, or technically what the problem is. But I must admit, there's one thing that I would be very critical of it. If I can tell if any of our players aren't giving it 100%, and I've been critical in the past before, and there's one thing that you could say with Mikey Arteta, even though he's lost his way a little bit last season, and maybe tactically, he's a little bit sort of, I don't know if naive the word, he's learning his trade basically, and some of the teams that he's picked. But one thing I like with Arteta is he will not accept anything less than 100%. So from us at the moment, sometimes the quality is lacking in different areas, or to find a decision, but everybody's given everything and they're trying to implement the manager's ideas. So he's just, changing that culture around slowly. As I said before, there was a little period, especially at the end of Arsene Wenger's tenure and the end of Unai Emery's, when he lost his way, there were players that were going through the motions. And that's the one thing, not just it's Arsenal, but obviously it bothers me more. You're getting paid basically to do the thing that you love, and you're getting paid for your hobby. So the least you can expect is that you give blood, sweat, and tears for that football club. And fan, you're both Jared fan, Mike. You're both fans. You'll forgive people for inadequacies if they're giving everything.
Yeah,
100%.
Not every Arsenal fan will do that these days, but yes, absolutely. And if for some reason Arsenal do go into that kind of state TV thing, and they put you on the side again, there's always Colchester TV to go back to, right?
To be fair, you got a problem. I've got Dagenham Redbridge TV. I've got Canvey Island TV. I don't think Southampton TV probably be as welcoming, like, considering it was a complete waste of money. But I keep telling everybody, it's like 375 grand a goal. I think compared to Shevchenko, that's not bad value, to be honest.
That works. Canvey Island, that's a great pull. 1995.
Canvey Island. Here's one for you, chaps. Right, I'd retired and I started playing for Dagenham Redbridge on a Saturday. They were in, which is now obviously the National League. So, and we were getting, I know the taxman's not listening, no, he's right. We were getting cash in hand on a Saturday, which is great, that's your drinking sort of money. And it was good money, about 300 quid, I think. That didn't work out very well because Dave Cusack, the manager, had all of his own sort of cronies around him. So I'm like, I'm not enjoying this, I'm off. And when I started playing for Canvey Island, because my mate was playing up front, Roy McDonough, again, just as a laugh, they were in like the old Isthmian League 3rd Division, wherever it was. Again, nice bit of money. So I played, we won the first game 2-1. He took me off after 65, 70 minutes, and I'm playing centre field for him. What's all that about? Because again, he had his mates around him. Second game, we're winning 2-0. He took me off again with 70 minutes. We drew 2-2. So I went to see him, and I wasn't very happy, obviously, because even when I'm playing that, and you still want to win, you still give it everything. You can't help that attitude inside you. So I said, "What the hell's that all about?" His name was with Jeff. I said, "Jeff, what's all that about, mate?" I said, "That's ridiculous. You took me off. You cost us the game. We was controlling it, 2-0 up, 2-2. He said, "We're not being funny, Perry." He said, "You look like you was blowing a little bit towards the end." I went, "No, I was all right." I said, "You need someone to keep the ball." He went, "Yeah, and if I'm being overcritical, he went, you look like you're a little bit heavy. You could do losing some weight." Right? Jeff King, the manager, was 23 stone. So I looked at him and just went, I think that's the big fella up there telling me that my football is someone who's 23 stone is telling me that I'm a little bit too overweight. I got the subliminal message. I went, no, you're done. And that was it. That was the last time I played for Canvey. I quite enjoyed my time there, actually. But, yeah, I wasn't taking that from someone who's like twice my body shape.
That's funny. I think all of us in regular life experience that. You go to the doctor and they say, yeah, you could stand to lose 5 or 10 pounds. And you look at them and they're considerably heavier than you are. It's kind of like,
I've never been in that position where someone told me to lose 5 or 10 pounds and was heavier than I was. But they told me to lose 5 or 10 pounds and then do it again and then again and again. I want to ask you something real quick because this has become relevant. I don't want you to tell the story, but am I remembering correctly that you told a story about you in a phone booth in David Rocastle?
Oh yes, no, that was up at Largs at a training camp at the beginning of the season.
Hold that because there may be somebody coming on who might want to hear that story in about 20 minutes or so. So I just wanted to make sure I have my memory correct because I mean, fortunately, we've heard so many great stories from so many great people. But yeah, hold that.
So how are you two guys keeping? So you're in the last what? How long you got to go? 4 hours?
3, a little under 4 now.
So yeah, there's 3 hours and 47 minutes left.
So what has it been? Espressos, Red Bull?
Well, Mike's had it much tougher than me. Yeah, I've kind of taken shifts. I did just a couple hours last night and then the last 4 this morning. So I'm, just woken up nice and fresh. I've had some sleep. Mike's the one who's marathoning this whole thing. So kudos to you. I'm not sure I could do it.
I'm the stunt man. I'm like someone's gotta do this and go the entire 24. So that's
Mike. I made a career out of being a stunt man. Trust me, just filling in for other people. It's not a bad skill.
No, I'll do anything for a good cause, and I think this is a pretty good cause. And speaking of which, we are now at $4,833 of a goal of $5,000 for this PODATHON. We're so close to reaching the goal, and again with 4 hours left, I feel pretty good about it. But $4,833 out of a total of 5 for the entire campaign so far this year. With the other events that we've run, we are probably now close to $14,000 or $15,000 overall. And I can't thank you enough. I'd love to hit the $5,000 mark real soon. And thank you to all that donated. At the end of this hour, we will be drawing the winner of our final Ruth Beck art print from the Arsenal, and it's this one. It's a corner flag from looks like from the Emirates. Ruth Beck is a great local artist in North London, and this will go to somebody who has donated to us. And then for the final 3 hours, we have Super Kevin Campbell coming on next and he's going to sign a shirt, new personalized Arsenal kit, and then the FA Cup winning squad, the 2019-20 first team signed shirt. Speaking of things that have been given away, say,
on all your stuff you've got, I'd like to donate if someone wants to bid for it now, or you want to do it in an auction, which way we do it. Because you mentioned their tours at the Emirates, the Legends tours. So they're just starting, hopefully in the next month or so. So I'll donate one of my tours, and they can choose whichever. When the dates go up obviously on the website, you can choose your date. Come round with me on the tour, obviously with some other Arsenal fans, and then I'll have a couple of pints with so it's tour for two.
Perry,
so
that's amazing.
I was literally just about to ask you this. I was going to put you on the spot, but you've saved me from having to do that, because in our auction last year, shortly after the time where my friend Rick and I had actually gone on a Legends tour with you, I then bugged you out by your car to sign a shirt for this, and you became aware of each other. And then I think Mark Brindle put us together for a podcast appearance. But at that time, you came up with the idea of, I was just talking about, hey, can I give away a couple Legends tours with you? And you came up with the idea of going out for pints afterwards, which we decided to call it the Perry Groves experience.
That's really a nice way of putting it.
I've been on so many tours of the Emirates that I literally I could walk around that place with my eyes closed. I don't mean to sound jaded, but like it's but the tour led by Perry Grove, you will hear things that probably Arsenal might not want you to hear. But excellent, amazing stories, entertaining time, but like literally going out to I don't know which pub you're going to, or whether you're just going to drink in the parking garage, but having a couple pints with you, that could get to be an extremely priceless adventure. And
there's a couple of pubs around the Emirates we can go to. So
I mean, I could see the Tolly wanting to be a part of that.
That's it, but Tollington. Yep, just where you go underneath the bridge on the left hand side.
Absolutely. So if we do have a winner, by the way, I mean, the winner of the Perry Groves experience last year, his name is Mark Mertz. He's a great guy who started a supporters club chapter in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Okay.
I told him you were going to be on today and encouraged him to come in and have a chat, but he's, it's 9:15 in the morning. I think he had something for work, but we've been just waiting for COVID to kind of to be over. But so you may end up having two winners back to back, but Perry, that is fantastic, and we're going to put that in the overall Gooner raffle. So if you've entered for this event and you didn't win, or even if you did win, your entry still move forward to the overall Gooner raffle that's going to be later this summer, once I recover from this experience over the last couple of days. So you have a chance to win that. But Perry, you saved me having to bug you for it, and I truly appreciate that.
And by the way, it's not optional. The few pints afterwards, it's compulsory. Even if I have to get people in a headlock, you'll be coming for a couple of Morettis in a Moretti Chalice. It's not optional.
That's why we call it the Perry Groves experience. You may get wrestled into a pub after the tour.
And I feel like after a couple of pints, it might turn into more than a couple of pints. But there are no guarantees.
It's impossible.
Okay. Yes. So yeah, that's fantastic, and I can't wait to put that up for auction again, or up for raffle. So, any questions for Perry in the chat? I mean, I think we've got from S. Irvine. What's your favorite tipple, Perry?
What the thing is, I had a little tipple, obviously a little drink, very posh as tipple. Would you like a tipple, sir? Yes. So it's normally a tipple would be like a sherry or a creme de menthe or whatever. But by that it means drink. So it's definitely I'm definitely route one. Like I'm a lager person. So whether it's Moretti, whether it's San Miguel, whether it's Peroni, but there's one criteria that I have that any place that I go into is a Moretti has to be in Moretti Chalice, a San Miguel has to be in a San Miguel Chalice, a Peroni.
That's how pubs work over there. Like you never see that over here. And I think it was my daughter or my wife said when we were over in London recently, like, do you ever notice how all the beers are poured into the specific glass for the beer? And I actually had never paid that close attention. I was too busy getting the thing down my gullet. But they do that most of the places.
No, it's the law. It's even though it was a European, even though we're out of Europe now, because there's one thing that really peeves me. If you go into a bar or a pub and there's a young bar person and they put it like a Peroni or a Moretti in a normal pint glass, I'm like, whoa, you haven't been working here very long. Said that's against the law what you've just done there. And they sort of look at me and I said, well, what's the difference? I said, it tastes differently. It tastes different. It has to be in the right glass. And they go, I don't agree with you. I said, okay. My analogy is, do you drink tea? And they'll say, yeah, I have a cup of tea. I said, right. When you have a cup of tea, do you have it in a China cup or mug, or do you have it in a plastic? Oh, China all the time. Why don't you have it in a plastic cup? Tastes different. There you go. Same product, different sort of vehicle to put it in. Tastes completely different.
You've brought up an excellent thing that triggers me on something else, and I hope I already know what the answer to this is. But speaking of tea, if you need to heat up water very quickly for tea, and you decide to take a large glass, fill it with water, and put it in a microwave, is that illegal as well?
Yeah. You have to boil the kettle, or you've got different apparatus now where you don't have to put it in a kettle. You just press the button, it boils, takes it to 90, doesn't even have to be 100 degrees, it could be 96, 97. But no, you're heaving there, Mike. You don't put it in water.
I got in so much trouble with the world on social media because I posted, I was on this keyword being was, but I was I was on this diet that involved powdered soups with warm water for a little while, and or hot water, and I took a video of myself heating up water in the microwave. I didn't think much of it. I wasn't doing it to take the piss out of anybody. That's just what we do over here. And I mean, I've had, you know, posts as the gerbil. I've had the post that Arsenal retweet. I've never had such a strong reaction in a negative way to something as when I tweeted that video of me heating water in a microwave.
You don't mess about with English in their tea.
No,
it doesn't work. You don't
that
do
the
that.
hard way.
That's sacrosanct.
Yeah, I mean, I'm American, and I don't think I've ever heated water in the microwave.
I mean, I never knew anything other than that. And so within a week, I had purchased this on Amazon, and it's the greatest thing I've ever owned in my life. I know it's not the traditional, because when I thought of kettle, I was thinking of the little, you know, the like the teacup thing from
the thing whistling on the stove
from Beauty and the Beast, you know, the thing that like that started singing and dancing and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not getting one of those. I'm not standing over the stove. I need this to be able to be done as I'm doing something else, because I like to multitask.
Do you know what? You know how modern life is getting quicker. People now, it's too long for a kettle to boil, which takes probably 4 minutes. Yeah. Now people are like, no, it's too long. I need my boiling water in 30 seconds. I'm not wasting my time. And
Sai Anvesh would like you to tell him off, please.
Sai, you're a very, very bad person. You do not heat your water in a microwave, mate.
Yeah, I'm not having you in here. In fact, I'm blocking you right now because I seem to like to hit the block, but no, I'm just kidding.
I think what Sai needs to do, Sai needs to boil some water in a kettle so it's pure, let it get colder, and then cleanse himself with that water to wash all that dirty thoughts away about put it into dirty microwave water. So just cleanse yourself, Si. You'll feel a lot better.
A tea kettle baptism this morning.
Exactly,
wherever it is in the world.
So what happens if somebody donates to the very noble cause that we are representing here, is helping an incredible cause, wins the Perry Grove experience, and then discloses to you after a couple of pints or after one pint that he or she boils water in a microwave? Is the experience over, and am I due having to refund them for whatever they
I think we'd have to sit down probably over another couple of pints, and I'd have to re-educate said person.
Well, because you do have the opportunity. It's like you know, do you cast away a person who's on going down the wrong path in life, or do you try to help
you bring
them
them back
and mold them?
Oh no, you have to bring them back from the abyss. You bring them back from the darkness, from the black hole that they're disappearing down with their microwave water, and you bring them back into civilization, and then they will find it. They've been redeemed, and redemption can be a magnificent eye opener.
Well, I like that answer because, you know, you don't seem like the type of person to just cast people astray just because they've made a simple mistake. And just like the world of Twitter did with me when I made that mistake. So,
but the world of Twitter was familiar with you. They've been looking for a reason for years to just pile on you. That probably contributed a little bit.
There are so many reasons why I probably should be canceled. That wasn't the one that I expected to be the reason that I got canceled. But but yeah, boiling water in the microwave was that. So
was you unfollowed on Twitter?
Yeah, I went.
That outraged. I ain't never.
Interestingly enough, when the official Arsenal Twitter account retweeted me for holding a Arsenal sign at a professional wrestling event that got on national television or international television, we went from like 1,000 to 6,000 followers. When I posted the microwave thing, I was down to like 400 followers. It just, and now I know why Perry Groves. The one thing you don't do is Twitter.
Yes, 100%. I'm not on
or
Twitter.
Do you have shadow accounts that I mean, like, are you really not on Twitter?
No, not at all. No.
Good for you,
if someone wants to tell me what they think and they brave enough to tell me to my face, then that's not a problem. But I'm not giving any power to people in a little room somewhere who want to put their misery onto other human beings. That's not my thing. And maybe maybe I'm too old for it, but.
No, you're too smart for it, is what you.
I think we're all too old for it. In reality, it should be a teenage thing, probably.
Yeah, but the only thing as well is because there's that, and there's the other thing is I might tweet something that I think is really funny, but when you read it, it's not in the right context. And there's an outrage society at the moment, and I just think, no, I'm not really going to put myself in that position. And the other thing as well, a lot of the players now, we know there's on a little serious note, there's a big mental health issue with a lot of players, not just footballers, but people in sight in general. And I do talk sport, obviously, and I'm privileged to do it. And they have their own Twitter feed when you're in the studio. And what I've found is, which I don't read it now unless I have to for the show, out of 100 tweets, you could have 98, 99 that are complimentary, and even if they're having a go at you, it's tongue-in-cheek and funny and banter, what they call it. You could have one or two that are particularly nasty and vitriolic, and they're the two that stay in your head.
100%.
Exactly what it is. And I don't believe people say they don't, because there's a lot of modern-day footballers now, as soon as the game's finished, and soon as the manager's given their debrief, and they've had that, they go straight to the phones to see what everybody's saying about them and see what people think of the way they played. Now, if you don't know the way that you played and the manager hasn't told you why you played, no disrespect, why are you going to worry about, because there's people there who want to spread their bile anyway. So you can't have it both. If you're doing it, you have to take the rough with the smooth, unfortunately.
It's an incredibly well-adjusted attitude, and I would recommend highly that you've got enough ways to promote whatever you're doing, whether it's a book or an appearance or anything like that. Don't get on Twitter because it's a cesspool.
Well, the other thing, what I do, Mark, I sort of quite a similar thing. I'm lucky enough I do after dinner speaking, going to football clubs, when they have their gala dinners and whatever, and do probably about 35, 40 minutes and try and be a little bit sort of insightful, trying to be like funny. There's one thing I did learn actually on my after dinners: don't ever let the comedian go on before you, because I did that on my first one. The comedian went on and completely rocked the joint. Everybody's laughing. I'm sitting there thinking, right, this is going to be a tough one. Everybody was mad, and I've got to keep that standard. So, because it's the comedian's job to make everybody laugh. So I'll make sure that's always on my rider. That, by the way, I go on before the comedian. But when I do them, you normally get, good reaction, which is fine. There could be 250 people in a room, like 25 tables of 10, and everybody could be like, there could be two on the front table or the middle table, right? Two people not laughing, and they're the two that you look at and you think, oh, this isn't going very well. And I had an experience of that afterwards, and people come up and ask for autographs, and a bloke come up, he said, oh, Perry, I love that. And he was one of the ones that wasn't really laughing. I said, oh, really? I said, because you didn't look like you was laughing. He went, no. He said, I was just concentrating and looking at you. I didn't want to miss any of your stories. He said, I didn't have time to laugh.
That's quick thinking by that person.
That is, yeah. So whether he was talking, or not, but even then, out of that room, and when you come away from the gig afterwards and you think, oh, that went okay, they're the two that not the 248 people who are laughing their heads off. And Bob Mills is a very good friend of mine. He's a stand-up comedian I do talk sport with, and he's been doing the comedy circuit for years and years and years and been on TV. And he said the comedian is exactly the same. He said that when they go on stage, they could be rocking it. If they spot a couple of people that ain't laughing, they're the ones that say it's human nature. It's in human insecurities. That's the way that our brain, unfortunately, is made to work.
It is, and I'm going to take the opportunity now to add somebody to our podcast. Perry, I told you to keep a story in the front of your mind for a little bit later in the podcast. I want to bring on someone who's become a great friend, someone who is in a part of a wonderful, wonderful family. Ryan Rocastle, welcome back to the podcast.
Hey, Ryan, how you doing?
Morning, Ryan.
Hi, guys. How you doing? I'm well, thank you.
Good to see you.
You too.
I love. This is becoming a habit now. I'm putting you together with your uncles from your dad's team. But it occurred to me when you said that when we needed to move your time around a little bit, that coming on with Perry would be great, because Perry told a story the last time he was on the podcast about your father. Because anytime I talk to folks from that era at Arsenal, and again, I've been blessed. Lee Dixon and Alan Smith and Michael Thomas and Perry Groves and even talking to Amy Lawrence from a journalistic standpoint.
You're brilliant, Amy. Very, very good.
And she did send in a hello. She regretfully is on holiday and couldn't make it today, but we always talk about the impression that your dad made on the team. And Perry told a hilarious story last time, and I hope you can. I know you're pretty good at retelling stories the right way. So,
but the thing is, like Ryan, with your dad, like everybody loved Rocky. Like he was a bit annoying, and he was like unbelievably handsome, unbelievably great bloke, unbelievable like footballer. He had everything going for him, and you think, oh, come on, there must be something wrong, and there never was. But he was the first person when I signed for the Gooners in September 4th, 86. And your dad was a star then in the England under-21s, and everybody knew who Rocky Rocastle was. And I was just a gingerhead nobody from Colchester, basically. And I was going training with all these massive stars like Charlie Nicholas, Viv Anderson, Kenny Sansom, David Lewis. Rocky was in there, Tony Adams. And George Graham let me train with the first team on that Friday, and we were playing the other mob up the road on the Saturday. And so we were taking set pieces. And as you know, Ryan, our set pieces, we were very, very strict. And George was very, very dictatorial about our set piece we did. So I was taken with your dad over on the, like from the left wing, bending him right foot. And I hit a couple which were quite good. And your dad sort of snapped it, hooked a couple, and didn't miss the first one. Like, so I'm going, great ball, Dave. Great ball, Dave. Brilliant ball. I'm trying to be everybody's mate. David, what a ball that is. Oh, they're not making the right runs. All right. And he just looked at me after about 5 minutes, and he always called me Purse. He said, Purse, shut up. He said, I'm having an absolute nightmare. He said, and by the way, leave off with the David, will you? He said, you're not my teacher. He said, my name's Rocky. I went, but I don't know you. He said, you do now. You know Rocky. You know me as right. I went, okay, that's fine. Fast forward the beginning of the next season. Yeah. Obviously, Dad plays like right wing, and that was my position from Colchester. I was a right winger, and I was looking at your dad thinking, oh, I've got to go some to get in the team above him. Do you know what I mean? The only thing I had over him was a long throw, so that was pretty good. But we was at Largs on a pre-season tour up in Scotland, and in the old days, this sounds how old we are. There was no mobile phones; it was just pay phones. So you could, if you wanted to phone your mum, your dad, your missus, your girlfriend, whatever, it's your pay phone. So the gaffer, George, had said, right, we've got 3 pre-season games. He used to call him Dave. He said, David, you're going to play first game. I think it was against Dunfermline, I think. He said, Perry, you'll play the second game. And then what happens in those 2 games, I decide who plays against Celtic in the big game at the end of the week. Mm-hmm. So your dad played, your dad played in the first one and didn't play particularly well, and we beat Dunfermline. I played in the second one, and we beat Morton 1-0, and I played quite well, and I scored the winner. So what you think is, well, that's handy. I've played quite well. Rocky's had like a bit of a dodgy game. I've got every chance here. So I go and phone my dad on the payphone after we've beaten Morton 1-0 and I've scored. So there's a queue, and I'm the last in the queue. So you get your 50p's, your 10p's, whatever. So I speak to my dad. And bear in mind, I'm 21 talking to my dad about football. You know what I mean? I'm still phoning my dad saying, so he said, how'd it go, boy? So I went, actually, Dad, yeah, written really well. Played all right, good work. I said, but I scored the winning goal. I said, my final ball was pretty good. The gaff was happy. I said, the major result is Rocky's had an absolute stinker in the game before me. I said, so I've got every chance now playing on the Saturday against Celtic. And he went, what do you mean? I said, well, Rocky just kept giving the ball away, and the gaffers hammered him at the end of the game, and I've played really well. So I reckon I could start the season. So he went, all right, boy, good luck, blah, blah, blah. So I put the phone down, turn round. Who's staring at me, waiting to go on the phone, is your dad. And I'm like, well, hashtag a little bit awkward like that. I went, all right, Rocky, like that. And he had, his massive grin he had on his face, his big sauce of brown eyes. Like, he went, Purse. He said, well, he went, by the way, you weren't that effing good. He said, and the second thing, there's no effing way that you'll be in the team at the start of the season. You have got no chance, right? And I said, all right, see you later, Rocky, like that. And he was laughing his head off. And he went, you make me laugh at that. And your dad was 100% right. He started the season, was brilliant, and got himself in the England squad. But there was no, like, typical your dad. There was it was just, he knew it was just football. He knew it wasn't personal. He knew it was nothing like that. And we were like really good mates. And if it wasn't for your dad, I might have played another 100 games for Arsenal.
He ended off with the bitterness. It was such an uplifting story, and then the bitterness. Ryan,
No,
by the way,
nothing.
I mean, between Perry and I, we haven't even really given you a chance to say anything, but it's great to have you back on. You know, we missed you this morning when we had Max and John on. I see that John is in the chat right now, but I did tell you a little bit about their story and what had happened, and just a really uplifting hour we had talking about the Arsenal fan base coming together, and you know, it's just been such a great year or so getting to know you, and you know, on a bit more of a kind of a personal level, learning about your Arsenal history, and you know, how you became a fan pretty much after your dad's passing, and I mean, you're Arsenal through and through as far as I'm concerned, despite your, you know, the QPR days. But how you been in the last couple of weeks? How's the COVID situation treating you and your family?
Yeah, it's been okay for us. Obviously, others not so good. You know, but I think things are getting back in England anyway. That I don't know where Perry is, but where I am, they're feeling like they're normal until somebody says that, you know, they've been pinged by this app or something and they're having to self-isolate. But for me, yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm gonna have my second jab at the end of the month, so yeah, I'm okay. Nice. Thank you.
So we've been kind of talking about Arsenal, but not so much. I mean, not the current day Arsenal so much lately, but you know, if there's anyone in the chat that wants to pop in and say hi to Perry or to Ryan, please do go to GoonerOpenMic.com. Just a quick reminder that we are doing this to raise money and awareness for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Again, it's touched so many of us. I know I could speak for Ryan and myself, saying, you know, what happened with our parents to blood cancers. We really need to stop happening to other families and at least support the ones who are currently dealing with it. But we are at a grand total of $4,843 of a $5,000 goal. We really need to hit that goal. We're getting really close here. So anything that you can do to help. Many of you have already donated, obviously, and we're not asking for any more. But please do what you can and help us reach that goal. Any questions from the chat that we have? One of them from Zamir. Can we say hi to Jared too? Have we not been letting you talk? I guess.
No, you know what? When Ryan and Perry come on, I'm more here to listen. I would much rather hear some of the stories, and I'm sure everybody who got on the chat for this hour would much rather hear from those guys than me. So I'm more than happy to kind of enjoy with everybody else and kind of take a seat in the audience and hear those guys tell some really cool stories.
Well, then,
guys, just looking at all of your backdrops with all your pictures. Obviously, Mike, you've got your like signed shirt up there, haven't you, to your right hand shoulder.
And I've got you. You were in that photo behind.
And the team photo. Then you got Bergkamp. You got obviously Highbury. Ryan, you've got that's Venice, isn't it? Is that Venice behind you? That is a little bit of class, my friend.
Does this help it a little bit?
Yeah,
exactly. The greatest goal ever. In the history.
That's Perry Groves right there, my friends.
Yeah, that's me. I'm glad that's not me in the middle. But just getting back to, so have you been to Venice then, Ryan?
I'm in my mum's house.
Oh, right. So Janet's been. She's been to Venice. Janet has, yeah?
She'll be delighted that you mentioned that.
Do you know what? What's random? Obviously, like St. Mark's Square is great, the Doria Palace and Burano. And when you obviously go on the river taxi, they've got loads of different like stations where you hop on, hop off.
Yeah.
We was going off to Burano, which is one of the islands, stopping at one thing, and they've actually got a station in Venice called Arsenal with an E on the end. So everywhere you go all around the world, there's always something to do with Arsenal. It was pretty cool.
Absolutely. So we're going to bring on someone who has been an absolute trooper. He's been on the air with us at various times. He's been in the chat. He's been supporting us in every possible way he can. And I'm sure he has a question for either Perry, Ryan, or both. Good to see you again, Dazzer. Darren's in the house. Let it rip, my friend. What would you like to ask? And we do have a couple of ones from the chat as well. So we're gonna make this quick. But
Yeah, my first question is to Ryan. It's nice to meet you, and I never got a chance to see your dad play, but just hearing the stories has been incredible to hear. What was the best advice that he gave you when you were young that still sticks to you at the minute?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, to be honest, mate, it's more how he acted rather than the advice he gave. So because I was only 9 when he died, but it was more just seeing. I always remember how he was with fans, even when he wasn't playing, he'd always want to sign an autograph or take a photo. At that age, you don't really understand why your dad's famous, especially back then when there wasn't like TVs and there was TVs, but not every game was on telly and the social media and stuff. So I just remember outside grounds and stuff, him always signing an autograph, looking after his family, the way he looked after my mum and my sisters. I think it was more just trying to sort of replicate how the way he lived his life, those standards, if you know what I mean, as opposed to any advice he actually gave me.
Do you know what it was, Dazza? Rocky was a fantastic footballer, right? But more importantly, he was a fantastic human being. And the human being obviously overrides the footballer stuff. And he was just class, the way, as Ryan was saying there, just the way that he treated people. And someone who was as good as what he was, and trust me, at one time he was in the top 3 midfield players in the country, without like a shadow of a doubt. He was just very humble, didn't think he was better than anybody else. Do you know what I mean? Which is a brilliant quality to have.
Yeah, I appreciate you answering the question, Brian. That means a lot to hear that. I do have one for Perry as well. This is kind of a cheeky question. Who was more of the prankster in the team? Like, everyone has their sort of like pranksters, and was there a particular one
that Perry, you mean?
What other?
It was, to be honest, Ryan will probably talk to his mum as well. Everybody used to take the mickey out of everybody else. There was no hierarchy. Even if, like, I was, like, we had our international players, international stars. We mentioned Rocky, obviously Alan Smith, Paul Merson, Dave Seaman, Tony Allen. But because they were international stars, there was no cliques. So I could take the mickey out of anybody, but then you get it back. What you try and do, you try and deflect it. So everybody took the mickey out of it. So it was probably me and Merce, probably I'd say, were the ones that were like you could say practical jokers or just getting on everybody else's nerves. It all depends which way.
I could see Merson being that guy for sure.
Yeah, but it was just it was the camaraderie there as well. That is the thing. Like, I'm Billy Nobody coming from Colchester, and just because I was giving them stick, they'd try and deflect it on me, or you try and just like palm it off on someone else. So there was all loads of stuff like deep heat in the pants, deep heat in your socks. So when you're walking around, then you think your feet are going to be on fire. There's all just it's pretty puerile stuff, to be honest. but you have to. Yeah, it keeps you going. It just keeps you having a laugh. And then it was more of the stories of the infamous Tuesday club where it was all out. There's probably 16, 17 of us all out at the same time. And then you get in have Wednesday off, getting on Thursday, and all your stories will be told, where you ended up, what you did, what time to get in, all that sort of stuff, So we were, even now, which is quite humbling, we've got the Boys of 89 WhatsApp group.
Oh my God.
And we're like
Can we give away access to that group for Gooners versus Kansas?
Absolutely not.
There are some things that are sacrosanct, as my dad
exactly,
used to say,
yeah,
and that's one of them.
Ryan, this will make Ryan laugh, right? Michael Thomas, obviously, when he was your dad's like best mate, whatever, and we all know Tomo's a man of very few words.
Yeah.
On our WhatsApp group, you cannot shut him up. He's like a budgie eating trill. He's just all the time WhatsApp, ping, 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 sending jokes through, sending memes through. Is he the same with you, Ryan? You're like, hold a minute, Tomo. When you don't hardly talk.
You know, he forwards on a lot of things like that. So he'll see like a lot of memes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He doesn't say anything with them, and just completely random forward them on. Yeah.
And also, you'll get one at like 11:45 at night. And you like in ping like that. If I know Tomo, are you like the other side of the world or something? Can you like ping it in the morning? Do you know what I mean?
That's hilarious. Dazza, we've got someone else waiting to talk.
Dazza, love the top, by the way. Little 89 yellow number, top mark.
That's right. And
Thank you.
I have mine, but it doesn't fit me anymore. It hasn't
You
fit
and
me
me
since
both.
1989. But Daz, it's good to see you again, and feel free to rejoin us again when Kev's on in less than an hour. So we'll see you soon. Joining us from New Orleans, Nola Gooner, Stephen Feely, the creator of the 89 t-shirt. This shirt that we have given away a couple of on this podcast already. But Perry, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but it's a shirt that obviously says 89. But if you look really closely at the 89, it is the Brian Moore call.
That is class.
Starting with Arsenal comes streaming forward, and it's a magnificent design. And we love that Stephen has shared some of those with us to give away.
In the design of the banana. Very similar, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of does look like that a little bit. But Stephen, welcome to the pod, man.
Hey, I didn't know you were popping me on. You didn't say anything in the chat.
I'm sorry. Oh, you were trying to just come into the chat. And
no. Well, I didn't realize. I popped in. I thought, you'd let me know if you were going to put me on because. So I'm at work right now. So I was like, I'll do some work, while and Michael let me know. And well, bam.
Well, yeah. Sorry about that. Well, so while you're on, any questions or comments for Perry or Ryan?
Honestly, I didn't really. I just really want to just pop on and say hi, and how and I did want to ask Perry, like back in the day, playing. You keep mentioning how handsome Rocky was, and then you being a ginger man.
Yes.
Was that part of it? Did that make you insecure?
No. The thing is, when you ginger, see your beard, right?
Yeah.
It's going to end up like this.
Yeah. Oh no, wait. It's coming. It's coming.
Right.
It's all down here.
Little white flecks in there. Exactly.
Yeah.
No. I was from a young age. I had a thick skin. You realise that open season on Gingers. We're the only ones that don't get any protection.
Always a butt of the jokes, man. Always.
Exactly. Yeah. So you have to. That's why maybe you have to, be quite quick in coming back with stuff. So I always saw myself as being an acquired taste, actually.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You're one of my favourites.
You got to keep the ginger band of brothers.
The way you played and being a ginger, like it was a joy to watch. I'll be absolutely honest.
Just running around.
But then Rocky came along,
Well, exactly. Well, the thing is, I didn't have the silky skills of Rocky and the foot overs and that technical. I was someone who was quick to run around. I think Arsenal fans looked at me when I played and thought, if I play for Arsenal, that's how I would have to play. Yeah. Because you don't get, like we mentioned Rocky, then mentioned Limpar, then you go to Bergkamp, then you go to Henry. Those players will do things that the normal footballer and normal fan can only dream about doing. And I was one of them. And you look at them, you think, wow, I couldn't do that. I couldn't play like that.
But with me,
yeah, exactly. I think if you put the shirt on, you think, well, I'd have to run around like he does.
I think it's like how Ray Parlour would play as well.
Yes.
It was that you had just enough skill, but it's really all about desire and determination.
Exactly.
And stamina.
Yes. And also with Ray, he's a ginger in denial. I'm sure that I've seen him without his product
with
and his
father.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he's got less hair now. It's easy to hide it.
Yeah, and there's definitely a bit of tinting going on, a little bit of blonde.
He goes out in the sun on his videos he makes. You can kind of see that strawberry creep.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, nice try, right?
One of his daughters, both his daughters, obviously young now. One of his daughters is Auburn redhead, and you're like, that's where it comes from. Razor, exactly.
It's
coming
in the
through.
Genes, that's for
sure.
In
the genes, very much so.
Question from Mark Bacredan for you, Barry. Did anyone ever make the mistake of pranking George Graham?
Absolutely. Absolutely no chance.
Yeah, I expected that would probably be the answer. That would be the end of your Arsenal career, I think, if you did that.
Paul Davis, right, another brilliant friend of Rocky's. Davo was a senior player, brilliant player, left-footed, very well-balanced, one of the older players. He had the temerity to not actually give the gaffer stick in the pipe, but in an interview sort of questioned some of his tactics or the way we were playing. And I can remember reading it in the back page of the Sun, Davis questions or whatever. And I just looked at that and thought, oh, my God, what has he done? So I'm mucking around. We all went in and went, anyway, Davo, been lovely knowing you. You've been a great servant. But we didn't even have time to say that because the gaffer got in the morning, said to Davo, see you you ain't doing this to me. You ain't training anywhere near the first team. And for 6 months, he was training with the cows and the sheep at London Coney at the top of the hill.
Were the sheep training, or were they just there? I mean,
The sheep
to
were
be fair,
qualified.
the sheep weren't bad at the back post. The cow was quite good at keeping it. It's like he played like
no, Perry, they weren't bad.
Yeah, very good. Right, so
man.
we pretended we didn't hear it. Right.
The lack of sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fairness, it's been like 20 hours for Mike.
In my best of rested moments, I'm bad with the dad jokes. But after 22 hours and 22,
it's impressive. It was only that bad. It could have been a lot worse.
But
exactly.
then
So,
we didn't know. We thought he'd left, and then Gus Caesar started playing centre midfield. So that sort of thought, oh, Davo must have left. And then about 6-7 months later, Davo starts training with us, and we're like, oh, all right, Davo, how's it going? So, where you been? He went, oh, I've been training over there on my own. And that was George Graham's way of going, don't you cross me, chap. You ain't flipping. So you learn your lesson. You go, all right, now whatever the gaffer wants, the gaffer, you do. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so there was no pranks on his massive 7 Series BMW.
Mark also has a question for Ryan. Now, again, keeping in mind that, you were 9 at the time and weren't super into football at that point, but obviously what your dad's style of play was. What current player reminds you most of Rocky's style of play?
That's really hard. I'll say I remember when he first came on to the scene. I think my dad's brother Steve said at his best, Oxlade-Chamberlain reminded him of.
Yeah, I get that.
Of dad, and that kind of stuck with me for a bit. And I remember sort of when he was playing really well, he kind of felt like they kind of had a similar-ish body shape and like quite like really tough, strong, got a few stepovers in. So he's not quite had the career that was expected of him. But I'd say at the start he was quite a similar-ish. Now playing right now, like is I'm not sure because so many wingers nowadays are inverted, so they play like left-footed, play on the right, and also that was quite
like a Pepe, for example.
Yeah, you don't really see that sort of anymore as much, so it's quite difficult to say.
Do you know what as well, Ryan? It's virtually impossible because wingers by their nature are normally seen as a little bit sort of flaky, not particularly that, like sort of skillful or, take people 1v1, but
mercurial.
But not particularly sort of tough tackling or hard. Whereas Rocky, even playing in a 4-4-2 wide on the right, he had all the step overs and all the brilliant tricks and ability 1v1s. But boy, was he tough. Boy, could he tackle. He'd come in from the right-hand side and he'd end up making a 3, whether it's Tomo, Kev Richardson and Paul Dave. And your dad used to go through people and he used to smash people. And fullbacks normally look to intimidate wingers. With Rocky, it was the other way around. He used to intimidate foot because they'd think, well, I can't get at him physically. I can't dominate him that way. And he's doing foot overs. So it's very difficult because your dad's got all the traits of a wide player and a winger and all the traits of someone who plays centre midfield. So it's very hard to get. And if anybody, we're all Gooners here, and I always say to people, younger generations, they ask me about Rocky, whatever, I say, there's a clip on YouTube which epitomises your dad, is when he scored against Manchester United. When he's picks the ball up in the centre circle, he's got Paul Ince one side, Brian Robson the other. He has a foot over, does a little shimmy. I think it's Ince goes for a burger and a cup of coffee one way. He goes in between them two. They're trying to like claw him back. And he looks up and for about 40 yards, he sort of drive chips. It's not like a chip. He drive chips Peter Schmeichel, who was the best goalkeeper in the world at the time. And it comes down off the crossbar and like that's that. If you just go that, YouTube's great. That one clip, you just go, that epitomises Rocky Rocastle. And up at Old Trafford, because a lot of people score decent goals, not necessarily at big grounds or against the massive teams. That's, again, how you judge people. And it's like incredible.
Stephen, we're gonna say goodbye. I'll let you get back to work, and then we've got a couple of housekeeping things to take care of here.
Keep your ginger beard going, Steve.
Keep it up, keep it up,
You
Terry.
called your love child in the chat, Terry.
It'll be great. It'll be great soon.
And don't diet either. Stay strong.
No chance.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thank you,
All right,
Stephen,
bye,
for your support. Appreciate it. Love the
See ya.
shirts. Go to feestees.me. Can I still
it.
publicize that?
You can still publicize feestees.me. Some great stuff on there. Mike, I messaged you about the Rocky shirts. If you wanted to use those I was going to give you 5 Rocky shirts to give away.
Well, and I think we did discuss. I think you spoke to Ryan before once about that.
Ryan. I know Ryan's seen it. Well, maybe he remembers. This one. If I can see it on the camera.
Yeah.
And I mean, because it's because of what the event is and everything. And I've got the 89 shirts that Mike has, but because people need different size shirts. So Mike, if you want to add that to your just giveaway, do 5 draws, whatever you want to do.
Brilliant.
And I'll send them out to whoever wants them. Whoever
Fantastic.
wins.
I truly appreciate that. Thank you, Stephen, and I hope and pray that I get to see you in February down in your neck of the woods.
Mask up, do your thing. Let's get to New Orleans, man.
All right, man. Take care, bud.
Right, take care.
Cheers.
All right. So at the end of our 21, we are. Let's see what the total is now. $4,843. We're getting really close to the end, and we're getting really close to the goal here. We're going to draw for the final Ruth Beck art print, which is the corner flag. Very understated, simple, nice piece of art from Ruth Beck. And let's see what we get in the randomizer here.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar with her work, you can check out Ruth Beck Art on Instagram. She's got her full catalog. She's a great artist. It's a ton of cool stuff and just a great person who's been super involved this year on Instagram with all the Gooners versus Cancer stuff. So I want to give her a shout out because she really does awesome person and really great artist.
And does a lot of really good causes as well. I mean, she's just sent me just folders full of these prints to give to people that cannot normally get them, because if you go to ruthbeckart.com/Arsenal, you can see all the prints. But if you live in the States, the prints are very, very reasonably priced. The shipping would not be. So you can't buy them in the US, but you can win them from me and from Gooners versus Cancer. And that's something I suggest that you try to do. All right. So here's the randomizer. The final winner of a Ruth Beck, and if this is a third-time winner, we're going to redraw because we made a rule about that. The winner of the Ruth Beck art, Steve Manios, which he is a third-time winner, and we're not doing he's already won a print, so we're going to redraw Steve. So let me get this back here. Let's try this again. The winner of a Ruth Beck art print, Ryan Lordos, a very good personal friend of mine. Ryan Lordos, wonderful guy, and he has now won a print that I can personally deliver to him because he lives in the same vicinity that I do. So congratulations, Ryan. You have won yourself the corner flag of the Emirates, and that's a Ruth Beck art. The next final three things we're going to be giving away is a Kevin Campbell signed Arsenal kit, a first team kit from the current collection of home, away, and third kits, and then the grand prize being a first team signed kit from the entire 2019 and 2020 Arsenal squad. So I did get a video from a friend of mine in just a moment. Or a few moments ago that I want to play real quick because it's kind of a teaser, as we call it in the business that I'm not in. But here's the video I got.
Magic Mike, oi! I'm going to be seeing you very, very soon. Got to keep you awake with all the guys, so I hope you're well. Sophie's going to be on, I'm going to be on to help you to the end. Take good care, mate. Look after yourself. Well done, and keep up the great work.
I thought that the video was going to be Kevin apologizing for me that he had to cancel. I get really nervous about these things, but no, he was just literally trying to carry me through on a Dickie Bow Thursday to the rest of the thing. But he should be here momentarily, right? So
yes, he will be.
I've got to go, right?
Yes.
But I'd just like to say that's the most sense I've ever heard Kevin Campbell speak. That was amazing.
Well, wherever you're going, tune back into the podcast. You might hear a couple other things from him, but yes, Kevin's a trooper. And Perry, thank you so much.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Was it something I said, Perry?
No, not at all. No, to be fair, no. I'd love to start. I love the hat, by the way.
Oh, thanks, mate. Thank you.
Very
Thank
smart.
you.
And
Thank you.
Ryan, say hello to your mum.
Yeah, we'll do.
And all my love. Yeah.
Thank you so
Well
much.
done, Mike.
Thanks, Perry.
We'll be in touch about the Perry.
Bye,
Gooners
Perry.
Yeah. Keep the good work going, chaps. Redman, don't you ever, Mike, ever put water in a microwave for your tea again. Ever. Right?
I've learned my lesson, Perry. Yeah, we went there, so we can go.
I love it. I love how that story just lives on. Bye,
Thank you,
Perry.
See you later, guys.
Appreciate it,
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.